Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Kelsey, the Spooky Spinster. In here we talk about all things spooky, from urban legends to true crime and all the spook in between. If it's keeping me up at night, chances are we're going to talk about it. You know, it's good to talk about things. So I noticed you noticing my Mothman shirt. Did that give it away what we're going to talk about today? Could have been the thumbnail, because I'm sure you all can read. Good for you. Today we're going to talk about Mothman, which I know is kind of like, because everyone has heard everything about Mothman like 1,000 times over. And I debated on not even doing this because I kept thinking, like, what can I possibly add to the Mothman story that no one's heard before? But like, I am like so obsessed with Mothman, so I have to do it. Which is kind of weird because like I actually hate moths. Vile little creatures. Ooh, I hate them so much. What is going on back here? What the fuck is this? Okay, so I'm gonna stop rambling about Mothman now. We're just gonna get into it. Hold on, I'm gonna drink. Mothman is an urban legend out of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and he had reported sightings there from November 15th, 1966 to December 15th, 1967. And reports say that he was about 7 to 10 feet tall, had a 10-foot wingspan, and he had glowing red eyes. So my shirt's not very accurate, and these are yellow eyes. Don't like that, but whatever. And a lot of people actually reported saying that it kind of looked like he didn't have much of a head or a neck. Like his glowing red eyes kind of just like sat on top of his chest. Like, I don't know. Weird. I'd be scared to death if I saw something like that. But I get scared if I see a regular moth. So I don't know where my obsession with Mothman even comes from. Because if I saw anything like that, done, running. I don't run. So the story that really got Mothman out there happened November 15th, 1966. Two young couples were out cruising around, Roger and Linda, and then Steve and Mary. They were kind of just driving around town, hanging out, and Roger reported saying that things just kind of felt off all night for him. He just kind of felt weird, and he didn't want to like ruin everyone's good time, so he kind of just kept that to himself. They were hanging out at the old TNT plant, which I don't know if that was like the hangout back then for the young people, whatever the young people do. I don't know. I wouldn't know. And they said they were hanging out there and they saw two red lights. And they were kind of just like, what the heck? What are those red lights over there? Because, I mean, they're just like, not in the middle of nowhere, but there's like nothing over there. And then all of a sudden these two red lights appear and they're coming towards them. And then once it gets closer and closer, they realize that like, oh my God, like they're not red lights, they're red eyes, and they're on some sort of winged being. They said that they could tell right away that he had large wings and he looked kind of gray. So at this point, they are driving away, trying to get away from this thing, and Mothman is keeping up with them the whole way. He is like bobbing through trees, trying to keep up with them. And the four friends drove into Point Pleasant Courthouse to report this incident. I'm not sure why the courthouse, or I don't know, maybe they were closer than the police department, I don't know. And they didn't want to seem crazy, like, because what do you really go in there saying? Like, we're being chased by a giant bird man? And it's like, it's the 60s, like, you don't want to be seen as crazy. I mean, you don't want to today either, but like, it's just, it wasn't very forgiving back then, I guess. I don't know, I wasn't there. But one of the cops that they talked to had known all of them from when they were young, and he just knew that they wouldn't have made something like that up, that they were all really good people and they wouldn't have lied about something like that. But that actually wasn't the first sighting of Mothman in Point Pleasant. I know I thought it was. I had no idea that there was someone else before that. So just days prior, in November of 1966, some gravediggers working in a cemetery spotted a strange man-like figure in the trees above their heads. And then it was a few days later that the two young couples saw them. So there wasn't much talk of like the gravediggers incident. I'm not sure why, because I had never even heard that before. It was always just this young couple, these two young couples, and their experience with him. But I don't know, maybe they just didn't like get a good look, or it was at a cemetery and they weren't that spooked. I don't know. I would have been scared either way. A man-like figure in the trees. You can be scared. We're not gonna judge you. That's scary. So within days of the first incident, well, I guess the second incident, a young mother came face to face with Mothman. She was holding her young baby and they were leaving, I think, her friend's house, and she was about to get the baby in the car, and then right in front of her there stood Mothman, and she was just frozen in fear. She reported being so scared she actually dropped her baby, and then she fell herself, and she said that it felt like just minutes were going by and she was just like having this stare off with Mothman before she finally collected herself, got herself up and grabbed her baby, and they both ran inside to her friend's house where they all called the police. And while they were waiting, like everyone was like going to the windows to see like what the heck's out there, like what is going on. And they said they saw Mothman standing in the front yard, and then while they were waiting for police, he actually came up to the window and was like looking in, which is really creepy. But then right before police came, he flew away, of course. So that sucks. So random sightings continued for many months, but then they all came to a very abrupt halt on December 15th, 1967, when the Silver Bridge collapsed, killing 46 people during rush hour traffic. And they said it was the weight of the rush hour traffic, and it was a suspension chain had failed, and that's why it collapsed. But obviously the locals didn't believe that, because there had been reports of a Mothman sighting on the bridge earlier that day. So people were like, oh my God, Mothman collapsed the bridge. And then some people were thinking that Mothman was there to warn people about the bridge about to collapse, and that Mothman hadn't attacked any of them, and that maybe he was actually very good and he was trying to get people off the bridge, and that maybe when the young couple saw him by the TNT factory that he didn't want them there because it was dangerous, and that Mothman was good and not this creep in the night. I don't know. I don't know. I would love to believe that Mothman is good. But after this, the sightings really stopped, but more people were talking about what they had seen, and a lot of people had stated that they were having visions. People who saw Mothman were saying that they were having dreams, and some even said that they had a dream about the Silver Bridge collapsing before it even happened. Some reported of men dressed all in black coming to their home and threatening them that if they talked about what they had seen, that they would kill them and their families. So Mothman is obviously a local folklore in Point Pleasant, and they actually hold an annual Mothman festival, and that's been going on since 2002. It just started as a way to like, hey, how can we get people to visit Point Pleasant, and nothing that's really happened there except for the Mothman sighting. So they thought that they could just do that. I think that would be really fun. The people organizing the event chose Mothman to be the center of the festival due to its uniqueness, and a way to celebrate the local legacy of their town. There was a 12-foot metallic statue of Mothman in their town, created by Bob Roach, and that's been there since 2003. The festival is held every third weekend of September, so that's coming up. If you want to go, definitely do that. Tell me how it is. They have guest speakers, vendor exhibits, a pancake eating contest. Not sure why pancakes. And then a hayride tour of some notable areas, maybe like where they saw Mothman. That'd be pretty cool. I would love that. In June of 2020, there was actually a petition started to replace all the Confederate statues with Mothman statues. And in June 2021, that actually had 19,000 signatures. So good for them. More recently, there claimed to be a Mothman sighting at the Wisconsin State Fair. As much as I want to believe that, I kind of don't think it was Mothman. So this is what happened. It was at the end of the night after, I think it was a Skillet concert. Two fair workers were cleaning up near the stage, and I don't know, they thought they saw like 30 feet in front of them, they saw this huge creature, probably 7 feet tall, and they said he probably had 12-foot wings and glowing yellow eyes, and they were just terrified. Like, they thought they were going to die that night. They said it took a couple steps towards them and then just like flew off into the night. So I mean, like, you hear that and you're like, oh my God, that's Mothman. Like, they legit thought that it was like a demon, like a demon come to kill them. So that's scary. Oh my God, I'd be so scared. I won't even leave my house after that. But I don't know. I mean, like, the yellow eyes, not the red eyes. I mean, maybe that's not even like a Mothman must. I don't know. Maybe there's multiple Mothmen and not just one. I mean, it's been a long time. There's got to be more than one, right? If he's still around. I don't know. But, okay, so that happened in Wisconsin, and I live in Wisconsin, so of course that got me all excited. So that happened in like the first week of August when the Wisconsin State Fair was happening. And then, so I need to like, hold on. I need to just give you like a brief layout of my backyard. I have my own Mothman tale to tell. Get comfortable. Get comfortable. This is a doozy. Okay, so here's a little diagram I've drawn for you. I know, I'm a very talented soul. So at the bottom there, this is my backyard. You need to understand the layout a little bit for the story. It comes in handy. Okay, so there's my deck, pool, trampoline, and then at the top, it's just like trees and bushes, and then there's a creek back there, and then fences on both sides. So when we mow our lawn, like, we just mow to where it gets like really thick with like the bushes and trees back by the creek. And then, okay, so you need to know that part. And then the layout of our upstairs, that's where like the bedrooms and stuff are. And at the end of the hallway, we have a balcony, and then that door kind of just like looks out to the backyard. So if you're looking out the balcony door from the second floor, you have this like perfect view of the backyard. Okay, good. Got it? You listening? Because this, my story's got a lot of parts. Okay, so a couple days or like a week after the Mothman sighting at the Wisconsin State Fair, it was just like a normal night over here. The dog was out in the backyard one last time for the night. It was probably like, I don't know, like 9:30 or 10. We're not up late. And our dog was just freaking out in the backyard over something. So we go back there and try to investigate what the heck has got her so spooked, because she doesn't really get spooked of other animals. Like, if it's like a little critter or something, she's like, let me at it. And if it's like another dog or cat or rabbit or anything. She wants to just like, hey, let's go play, let's be best friends. But something had her like way spooked. Like she was backed up into like the corner of like the deck and the fence, kind of just like growling. She doesn't really bark, she's a husky, so she doesn't really bark. She was kind of like howling and growling, like she was like tense. So my fiance and I, we were out there trying to like see like what the heck's got her so mad, and he threw like a kind of like a big stick out towards the creek area, like because those bushes and all those trees, it's so thick and so high, like you really can't see much back there. So he threw a stick out there to hear like if it was an animal, like if it would get scared and run away, like we would have heard it. And we didn't hear anything, we didn't see anything, but we're just like, okay, whatever. Brought her in, and that was that. And we kind of just didn't think about it, because I don't know, like sometimes, you know, maybe the dog's just being a baby, I don't know, maybe a storm's coming in, but there wasn't. Okay, so the next morning, I'm still in bed. My fiance, his name is Randy was up before me, and he comes back in the bedroom and he's like, you have to get up, you have to come look out the balcony window. I'm like, what? Why? Like, I'm not trying to get up. I wasn't getting up. And he's like, there's a big indent in the grass, like something, he said something slept in the grass. And I'm like, it was probably just a deer. And he's like, no, this is a huge spot, it could not have been a deer. So I'm joking around, I'm like, it was probably a bear. He's like, no, it was a really big spot. Now we live like right in a normal city. Yeah, there's a creek that runs through our backyard, but we're also like right in town, so we don't really see a lot of wildlife like at all. Like I think we saw a deer near our backyard once, but we have a dog, all of our neighbors have dogs, so like wildlife doesn't really like stick around over here because they're just like spooked of all of our dogs. So when he said that like this spot is like huge, I'm like, okay, I have to come see this now. And it was just like this massive spot in the bushes and like by like the thickets and stuff back by that creek. So it's this huge spot in the bushes and in this grass. So of course I'm like, I need to take video of this and pictures of this. So here is that video. Like, look at how wide that is. And I just feel like it looks like something is just like plopped down on it. And there's like no other spots like where something could have left or came through. I don't know. Just weirds me out. And of course, wouldn't you know it, that day we had landscapers coming in, and now all that bush and shrubbery and all that is gone. So I'm so glad I took a video of it and took a picture of it, because otherwise you'd think I was crazy. I mean, I told this story to a couple of people and everyone's like, haha, okay, like that's a good story. But I don't know. Is it Mothman? Did Mothman sleep in my backyard? I don't know. But at the end of the day, still something made that huge spot in the grass. And that's weird. Because, like, what could have made this huge spot? Like, the grass is just, like, flattened. Like, something was laying there for a while. And it clearly scared the crap out of my poor dog. So I would love to know what that was. Like, because if I wake up in the middle of the night to check on the kids or whatever, like, I always look out that balcony door. And of course that night, like, we all slept soundly and I didn't get up at all. But I kept thinking that whole next day, like, oh, what if I would have woken up and looked out that window and saw something? Like, I probably would have crapped my pants if I looked out that window and saw something sleeping in the grass. So I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's Mothman. Maybe it was a family of bears. I don't know. Probably not. So tell me what you think. Do you think Mothman slept in my backyard? I think Mothman slept in my backyard. I'm going to keep telling myself that it was Mothman because I just like that story. I think that's great. All right, thank you for watching, guys. If you liked this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and watch again next time. Bye.